its lich. And think about all the money that's the Undead is pouring into things. He's lost like 5 statues retardedly. He's lost 2 destroyers that were in destroyer form, countless ghouls. I mean, he's still in the game, like by all reason, but even with all those losses now, the Undead player is essentially screwed. Like, he has such a small army. Like, if you look at the food counts, he's exactly 20 food lower than Vex Marquis, and it's going to be a pretty consistent number. He's going to be 20 food lower than Vex Marquis for a long, long time. Basically, if you're expanded or are expanding and you're expecting to get your expansion up, which you should be, you need to understand that generally speaking, you can afford losses. The Undead player can't afford losses. If an Undead loses his hero, like a level 3 Death Knight in the middle of the freaking game, he's basically lost. And people don't really realize this about playing Undead. They think it's so easy. They think no skill race, Nova Coil your hero, LOL you lose. Basically not how it works. Undead players have a lot of pressure to play perfectly, especially because it's so difficult to expand as Undead. I would say, like, it's so difficult to expand and it's so easy to fuck up that, you know, as a human player, you have a lot of leeway being expanded, and you need to keep this in mind. If you can do anything to make the Undead TP to their base, like what Vex Marquis is, he capitalized and killed this Lich, anything of that nature that you can do to the Undead player is going to be paramount. One of the most important things you can do in defeating him. Okay, so, in this little skirmish here, I want to point out exactly what Vex Marquis did. He bolted and forced the DK to TP, and then he focused on a statue with his Dragonhawks. He always, when your opponent's TPing, take the weakest units. Anything you know you can kill, go for it. 100% go for it, no doubt. Versus another important thing to point out, versus any Undead player, always be producing a Paladin. There's very few times where I would not go Paladin. One of those times, I guess, would be if I was playing an extremely bad opponent, and I was pretty positive I wasn't going to lose. I'd probably just go MK solo, get him to level 5, and then just run around bolting his DK. And that's, again, if I wasn't trying. Another thing Vex Marquis is doing, which is very important, is he's sending a militia around the map to scout all the expos. Undead expos are a lot more deadly than human expos. Humans need an expo to win. Undead players need them to kick your ass a lot easier. Mine for mine, the matchup is imbalanced, but the balance in the matchup is that the human player has the ability to expand, and the Undead player essentially can't. However, the Undead player has made an expansion in the upper right-hand natural, and while it is somewhat of a shame that Vex Marquis hasn't scouted it, I believe he was going to scout it at this point in the game, but Black showed up at his expo and started wrecking havoc. Immediately the Undead player is forced to TP. He's trying to trade units with the human player and try and basically keep in control of the game, which I would say at this point is almost futile. He should be setting up another expansion and just like massing up towers and just making like an 80-80 Destro army with like a level 5 DK or something. Like, I mean, that would probably be the better route to go. Well, it seems sort of fag and lame to, like, you know, be an ass like that, but whatever it takes to win, you know? And I think Grubby said it, and it's a pretty famous quote: laming is another excuse for playing good. People are always complaining, oh, human mass towers, Paladin first, what a fag. Let's be real here. If it wins, it can't be that bad, am I right? It can't be that no skill. I'm pretty sure Todd is on fire lately. He's been playing excellent, and he's not playing excellent because he's doing shitty strats and he sucks at Warcraft. Sorry to break it to all you fanboy haters. I'm a Todd fanboy. He's great. He's a great player. And as of late, he's been playing almost flawlessly, and his strategy has become amazing. He's been doing really innovative things, especially like THOOO, and I think that in the future we're going to be able to see a lot more Paladin MK mass tower games versus Undead, which I'm incredibly excited about. I love that kind of stuff. I think it's great. Okay, so off on that little tangent, back to the game. The human player essentially trying to get a level 5 MK and a level 3 Paladin. If you can do that at any point versus Undead, you've generally won the game. A 5-3 nuke versus DK, especially a DK right now that I believe is only level 3, is it? Yes, only level 3, not even level 4, 3/4 of the way or so. You're often going to find that bolt light is essentially going to be such a deal breaker. The Undead player isn't going to be able to keep up with the scrolls of the town portal, as well as the units, as well as like the scrolls of the town portal, the invulnerability potions, the units. Like if you went Fiends, level 5 bolt with a light instant kills a Fiend. even if they have armor. And the human nuke is something that you cannot underestimate. It's so deadly. Like, seriously, if you bolt light a lich and with 5/3, that lich is going down. Let's be real. Like, they can coil it, but you're just gonna bolt light it again. Your spells have a lower cooldown than undead nukes. So it's incredibly powerful, and I don't think it should be underestimated at all. Any chance you can get, power creep your paladin and power creep your MK. Okay, so we're coming up on the final fight, and I'd want to make one more point what Vex Marquise did. He bought healing scrolls. With such an army, such a Zerg-style army, where you're going to have lots of low HP units, you're basically going to need heal scrolls to win the game. You're Expoed, they're not. You can afford healing scrolls, they can't. Otherwise, I'm sure the Undead player would get them too. Even if they wouldn't be as effective. And another thing to notice playing D-Hawks. Notice this is like a 25-minute game, 21, 22-minute game. And look how patient he's been. This is his first Dragonhawk-style attack, like physical attack on aggressive move towards the Undead that isn't even near one of the Undead's home bases. And, you know, with that being said, why is that? Dragonhawks are very hard to micro effectively, and they're small. They're not very powerful in small numbers, so really well thought out by Marquise. Okay, in this fight, he's essentially going to be taking his D-Hawks and focusing down destroyer after destroyer. Every time the Lich casts Nova, or he presses Alt and notices that too many of his D-Hawks are at low HP, he's going to use a scroll. Right now, he's going to be using a scroll in like a couple seconds here. If you look at hold Alt, you can see all these low HP D-Hawks that are now essentially a high HP. And basically, one at a time, he's just focusing down all these destroyers. Another thing to notice, level 5 MK chasing around that DK. Every time you have a level 5 MK, its main purpose should be bolting their heroes or killing running fiends, etc. And I think one of the most impressive things about a level 5 MK is that it's way better than a level 5 DK. It has more HP. I think it has more HP, and it's like stun. Stun's incredible. Like if he would have gone, say, Griffins that game, Griffin Gyro or something, and he would have went and bolted the DK and then focused it with like 5 Griffins. That's like a half HP DK. I don't care what level it is. So I think it's incredibly important to realize that while there are imbalances in the matchup, there are imbalances going both ways. Vex Marquise this game played a very innovative strategy, doing a tier 2 expansion, harassing the Undead player in a game where the Undead would normally be the harasser, which I think is the most important thing to take away from this game. Just because if you're playing a pro strat, don't complain about things that come with it. Being heavily DK harassed and possibly Garg teched is one of the things that are going to happen when you're doing a standard human expansion. And if you don't like it, then learn to do a tier 2 expansion and learn to play like Vex Marquise, because he essentially deals with the problem in a very simple, effective manner. And if you're going to tell me about how Baba Black isn't a good Undead player, I'm pretty positive he's like an excellent Undead player at US West. I've seen him play many games, and I've seen a lot of replays of him here and there, and he is a good player, and Vex Marquise is a good player, so this isn't some random scrub game. So, that was my first audio commentary for you guys, and I hope everybody enjoyed it thoroughly. I enjoyed making it, and I definitely will be doing more in the future. Joseki, signing out.